There he is. Well, better change the channel. All right, kitty, that's enough. All right, come on. Let's go down here by the whale shark tunnel. There we go. This book right here, which doesn't have a cover on it, is called Look Homeward Angel. It's about a North Carolina writer named Eugene Gant. It was written by Thomas Wolfe, one of our greatest writers of all time. Let me put this on pause for a second. I was gonna get him standing. I think this performance is very creative by Jude Law, but it's not how I saw Thomas Wolfe at all. He was a mad genius. I think his story, which originally was Oh Lost, they changed it to Look Homeward Angel, the editors, started off with a stone, a leaf, an unfound door. Jude was kind of playing himself, kind of a manic version of himself, but I don't think that Thomas Wolfe was that. Here's one of the covers. I don't think he moved quite that much. I think he was more contained, but I do think he rambled. I do think Thomas Wolfe rambled for quite a bit of time, but not full-on cheerleader energetic kind of thing. I always wondered about this performance, and I know Jude Law would agree with me. It's more of a Jude Law performance than it is Thomas Wolfe, which that's probably what they wanted. Very hard character to play. But check it out. Here's the title on it. It's a pretty good one. They're showing it for free. It's called Genius, and it's Thomas Wolfe. It's about Thomas Wolfe. It's not written by Thomas Wolfe, but this is Look Homeward Angel is also another version. I've tried to get through this book several times. I've done the play. I played Ben Gant, his brother, Eugene Gant's brother. Eugene Gant's the protagonist. I've tried to get through this book many times, and I've gotten through big chunks of it. It's quite the read. They had to refine the book because originally it was way longer and it was called Oh Lost, but they changed it to Look Homeward Angel and made it more kind of savvy for the public. You can even get a copy of Oh Lost now. It's more poetic. The difference between a poem and a novel is a novel has a plot and takes you from one point to another, very similar to like a vlog or a movie. A poem can just go on and ramble and ramble and ramble for a long time. Here's an example. This low-priced Bantam book has been completely rest in the typeface designed for every reader and was printed from new plates. Oh, okay, this is the first page. I thought it was a poem. It's actually just explaining the book. Then we look at this right here, which is 2AB. Then as all my souls be, and paradised in you, in whom alone I understand and grow and see. The rafters of my body, bone being still with you, the muscle, sinew, and vein, or vine, which tile this house will come again. That's more like a poem. And then it goes into a plot eventually. Talks to the reader here. This is an older copy of the book. There's part of the book there. There's part one. There it is. Even the beginning of Oh Lost, similar, almost like a little poem. A stone, a leaf, an unfound door. Of a stone, a leaf, a door. And of all the forgotten faces, Naked and alone, we came into exile. In her dark womb, we did not know our mother's face. From the prison of her flesh have we come into the unspeakable and incommunicable prison of this earth. Which of us has known his brother? Which of us has looked into his father's heart? Which of us has not remained forever prison pent? Which of us is not forever a stranger and alone? O waste of loss in the hot mazes lost among bright stars on this most weary, unbright cinder lost. Remembering speechlessly, we seek the great forgotten language, the lost land end into the heaven, a stone, a leaf, an unfound door. Where? When? O lost, and by the wind, grieved ghost, come back again. He's referring to Jesus Christ. He's also referring to the unfound door, because people have talked about Christ being the door. Anyway, check out the performance. It's genius. It's about Thomas Wolfe. Look Homeward Angel. I played Ben Gant on a high school play way back in the day before I got really into acting. I want to put this book back up real quick. It's like a paper copy of the book. I don't know if Thomas Wolfe would blog today. I think he probably would have. He would have appreciated vlogging. He might have done it. It's quicker than the old typewriter. I'm going to put it in the, what I call the wall, right next to the, whoops, got a phone call from Azel. Right here. I'm going to put it right here. It's Guy Pearce. It's Guy Pearce as Fitzgerald. And I think this is the idea of how to play Fitzgerald. I agree with this performance. Colin Firth is the editor. What we'll do is we'll keep it on that, and we'll show Colin Firth. I believe that's his name. I'll have to look it up. This guy right here. He was in a film called, he's been in many films. The King's Speech was one of the films that he was in. Colin Firth is playing Max Perkins, which is the editor, or the one in charge of making sure Look Homeward Angel becomes public, which is originally called O Lost. Max Perkins, and that's Colin Firth playing him. Jude Law plays Thomas Wolfe. Great performance. He's always great. The two guys I like in this is Guy Ritchie and Colin Firth. Thomas Wolfe, I would have toned it way down, made him ramble, like physically toned it down. Make him ramble, but controlled the emotion. Thomas Wolfe came from a very astute family. His mother was almost like a real estate tycoon in that area of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and probably was very strict on Thomas Wolfe. His father had a horrible problem with alcohol. W.O. Gant is his father in Look Homeward Angel, but that's a fictional version of him. But he was, I think more contained. After all, he was a writer. He wasn't an actor. It was almost, there was a rumor that he wanted to be an actor. I've heard that. I could be wrong, but I always saw him as contained in all the photos. And not just that, but in the drawings of him and everything. Just a very contained person with way wilder hair. That's Colin Firth, though. I'm going to switch it over to who I'm talking about. Okay, so he's getting up. Oh, he's talking to Fitzgerald right here. Okay. Okay, well, just watch it. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, you'll have to see it. Yeah, that's Fitzgerald. I think the Fitzgerald, he nailed it.
Guy Pearce.
My friend, he's a director in Hollywood. Drake Dormus worked with him in a movie called Breathe In. I'm Cole. How you doing? Let me fast forward it and go back to some of Jude Law stuff. Now, I know why Jude Law did this. The performance is a little more commercial. It's going to grab onto people's attention. But he may have talked about toning it down. I would have toned it down and been brave. I would have fought with the directors. I would have been a big, I would have made a big stink about making Thomas Wolfe contained, but yet rambling, like with words, but contained. There he is there. Look at him here. He looks more kind of like, I don't know if any writer would have that amount of energy. I think he reminds me of like an actor rather than a writer, but he's just very manic. And I think Thomas Wolfe was, but I don't think he was to this degree. I think he was more contained and he was poised, more posed, and I would have played him that way. But still, he got through it, and it's a genius performance. Put a 10 on it. I think the whole movie's genius. But I don't see Thomas Wolfe as flailing his hands around and doing all this stuff and all this stuff. I mean, I just don't see that. I could be wrong. Hemingway, of course, would have been contained. Hemingway's always playing contained. Fitzgerald's always playing neurotic. Thomas Wolfe is contained with a rambling voice, very kind of astute. And he just was like all over the place, just... Anyway, check it out. It's called Genius. I'll show it again. It's about Thomas Wolfe. It's Max Perkins. Genius is right here. It's playing for free. Check it out. So, welcome to the Please Subscribe show. Doing well on the show. Ran into a lot of people. Still writing Escape from Maine. That's just kind of a refined version of the real version. If you find it on Fiction Press or Fan Fiction under Escape from Maine under my pseudonym name, which is Ash Cole. I'm actually Cole Spivey. That's the channel. I'm the one running the channel. Linda, she went to Houston. I don't know. I'm not going to give any dates on the return of Linda. But I will say this, that marriage is between your spouse and Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ rules over that marriage. So he's in control. And the Lord is in control. He always is in control. We try to control it. We can't. I'll pray. She changed her Facebook page back to Linda Gray, and so we had a marriage for a while. She was Linda Spivey for a while. I just have to be honest with everyone. So it's not my first time. My first time I was married was with Sarah. She was a half Sicilian and Irish. And she was contained and poetic. And she introduced me to David Lynch because she was an American broadcast, or she was an ABS student. So it's American Broadcast School. So she was studying radio. That's how we met David Lynch. And then later, I think after 6 years of marriage, we divorced in this area that I'm in now. And I never saw her again. And then Angel, I met her maybe like 2 years later, and we had 3 children. Angel's a devout Christian and taught me so much about the New Testament and Jesus Christ. And we were married for about a good 5 years, and we had 3 children. And I haven't seen her since March 9th of 2000. And Linda helps me with this. 2000 and I think 19? No, it was 2020. No, it was 2019, I think. Wait. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah. January, February, March. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yes, it was 2019. It was March 9th of 2019. I could be wrong. If you're watching this, Angel, you can make a comment. But I haven't seen them since. So she took all 3 children. Gwendolyn, I only saw, she was like 3 months old. The other kids, we raised them till they were 5. So I got to be a father until the children were about 5. We have, Angel and I have Irish twins. So what it means is that David was born in 2014, and right after David was born, a few months later, Angel conceived, and then we were with then we had Elizabeth. So Elizabeth was born the next year, in, I believe, in July 10th, and then David was born the prior year in August 21st. Anyway, and so they share, for about a couple of months, they share the same age. So David's about to turn 9. So after David turns 9, then Elizabeth and David will be 9 for like a couple of months. But David's older. He's the oldest, and then Elizabeth. And then Gwendolyn, I've just seen photos of. Angel won't send me any photos or anything. I try to get in touch with her a couple, like maybe yesterday. I sent her a message asking how the kids were. So if she could send a photo, I'll definitely show you the photo if she approves of it. She knows I have a show, so she may not approve. She doesn't approve of being on the show. Angel doesn't. She's a big time churchgoer and Christian. So I showed photos of my kids in the early versions of the show. But anyway, I'll keep you in touch with everything on how things are going. Looks like it's just me and Kat, wherever he's at. And of course, Jesus. The cat's name's not Jesus. The cat's name is Edmund. Edmund Tuxedo Cassavetes. I'm seeing where he's at. I heard him earlier. Where'd he go? Kitty? I need to tie my shoes. There he is. There you are. Don't hide. Now he's refusing to be on the show. Anyway. So I've got a lot of work to do. I do want to finish up Escape from Maine. I have to make a new note card. But I'm going to go and do some, I guess, marketing. And then we'll drop food at your doorstep. This channel, you have to do a lot of marketing. And anyway, here him again. See if I can find him. So I told you quite a bit about my life. I try not to lie. I try not to fib. You'd be able to figure it out eventually. There he is, Edmund. Oh, he goes. He's like a big baby. He was curling up with me earlier. So it's me and Edmund, and I got to go here pretty soon. All right, he's rough. He's a rough kitty. There he goes. Okay, kitty. All right, let's stand up on my feet. He's a stray, so we brought him in. Actually ran in. He ran into the place. I gotta head off. I'll keep you in touch. I feel this is kind of a version of writing. So it's a version of storytelling for sure. All right. Maybe later. And that is the skyline of Fort Worth, Texas. Well, one of the skylines. There's many skylines. This one's way back here from like the suburbs. All right. It's 174,858 miles on the speedometer. We're dealing with 74 degrees Fahrenheit. It is April 18, 2023. And I am Cole Spivey. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. Been talking a lot about writing. My pseudonym for writing is known as Ash Cole. I've written many poems and short stories and a few books under the name of Ash Cole. And plays, many plays. And I've written a screenplay. I've written several screenplays. I've actually written about 50 screenplays. But I'm working on one right now known as Escape from Maine. Maybe Thomas Wolfe was a little manic now I think about it. I could be wrong about Jude Law's performance. You know, I was reviewing Genius with Jude Law, Colin Firth. I gotta look up the director, okay? But Colin Firth is in it. He plays Max. He's the editor. of Thomas Wolfe, and Scribner's. He worked for Scribner's, and then also Fitzgerald was played by Guy Ritchie. I hope it's not Guy Pearce. Guy Ritchie. I'm going to go with Guy Ritchie. I'm remembering Guy Ritchie.
Guy Pearce.
For right now. Okay, so I always do movie reviews as much as I can. I love movies. Movies are my favorite. I've noticed a little bit that I get I drink this tea, so I get what's called salivation, and it just means that probably I haven't eaten like a big enough meal, so I salivate, and it comes out when I talk. If I had the problem my entire life, I'll try not to spit on the camera. I've noticed I've done that a few times, but it's human, so we're gonna let it pass because it is a human thing. I think they have this little thing that you can take that dries out your mouth if you're on set. You know, if you're acting. Okay, another thing about my history. I'll talk about myself. Let me switch over to selfie. Learning this from Adam the Woo. We all talk about Adam the Woo. Adam the Woo, because Adam the Woo does these kinds of things. I'm an actor, okay, at heart. I went to the actor studio in New York. It's a drama school for the New School University back in the day, 2001, when Bradley Cooper was getting started. Bradley Cooper's my peer. He's a guy that just produced Joker with Joaquin Phoenix a few years back. He's working on Leonard Bernstein. We're going to see it later. We'll be talking about a lot about Bradley Cooper. Blah, 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 Bradley Cooper, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now, got that out of the way. I also write. I'm a writer. Back in the day, early times, I used to be a mime, so I do mime. So all different forms of storytelling. I picked up vlogging professionally, I would say 3 years ago, but I've been doing it for more than 10 years because I started the channel more than 10 years ago. I just do a lot of B-roll and do like cinematic stuff. So I learned that, okay, we can put this in iMovie and then kind of tell a story. So I started doing that about 3 years ago. And that's when I met Linda and we started the Please Subscribe Show, which was originally called TPSS, the Please Subscribe Show. I changed it to Please Subscribe Show. So it's PSS. So it's also something you would write in a letter at the bottom of the letter after you're like, thank you, PSS. Oh, thank you very much. Something like that. So we use PSS when we write something, like a letter. So my initials for the show is PSS. You found me, you heard about me, maybe someone told you about PSS, or the Please Subscribe Show, or Cole Spivey, or what was known as Linda Spivey, who now is Linda Gray, and she's in Houston. So whichever direction Houston is. Anyway, now I'm gonna go do a little bit of marketing, and then eventually I will start the day off to drop food at your doorstep. Right, that's a great wedding chapel right over there. Linda and I play the piano at that wedding chapel. They have a I think it's Lena Pope home. It's a plaque for the Lena, I believe it's called the Pope home. Lena Pope home. Anyway, that's a wedding chapel right there. And we're in Central Market in a place called Chapel Hill Square. It's kind of yeah, I know, because Thomas Wolfe was from Chapel Hill. There's the old man reading to the two daughters. Lena Pope home? I don't know. You know what it's really called. You'll figure it out. The real name of the church, though, is, I'll look it up in a minute. The real name of the church is Marty Leonard. It's a community chapel and wedding chapel. And they do have I believe it's called, it's a Pope home. It's basically a charity for children, women, and things like that. I want to say Lena Pope is what I'm saying now. If you know the real name, leave a comment. But it is called the Marty Leonard Community Chapel. Big fan of portobello mushrooms. Yeah.
Just I could scrape the very end, but this recipe is the best recipe.
The best recipe? Okay.
You can put that over your steak.
I know someone that cooks.
Yeah, put that over your risotto. I mean, it's a versatile little recipe.
Yep, it calls for 1/2 pound of portobello?
Yeah, or
half pound of portobello.
And then a half pound of something else. But I just today did the only portobellos.
You could probably just use portobello, right?
You can, and
okay.
You can use whatever you want.
Cool.
I've done this with white button mushroom too.
All right, they do have some fish right here. We're gonna check out the type. I don't know what it would be. I don't think it's the whole ruby red trout, but it might be. I don't know if that's it over there. The whole freaking. Yeah, it's probably gonna be the striped bass. So I'm thinking it is. What is this one called? The one right here? These right here? Trout? Okay, so it's trout. And next to it right here, is that the walleye? Walleye? Okay, this is the walleye right here. So walleye right here and trout. All right, natural pork bone, or there's the mango habanero. All right, so we're in Chapel Hill Square. I was talking about Genius today, which has Jude Law in it, and Colin Firth, and Guy Ritchie.
Guy Pearce.
You'll see it's about Thomas Wolfe's life and the book O Lost, which became Look Homeward Angel. So O Lost became Look Homeward Angel. Here's an old man reading a book. They're all kind of looking at the book. You get a picture of that book as being Look Homeward Angel, I guess, in this one. It has writing on it, though. Only the artist would know for sure. Look at her hand. It's very detailed. So this is Chapel Hill Square. Lena Pope is there. That's actually inside there, Lena Pope. They have like a plaque to her, but it's known as Leonard Chapel. Said it earlier. I think it's Max Leonard Chapel. I looked up earlier. And then on the other side of it is the entrance, and then right next to that is a plaque, and that's where the Lena Pope home is located. Linda and I did a little vlog of it, and you can see Linda play piano there. That was when we were the Linda and Cole band, before we were the Cole and Linda Filmmaker Band. All right. So they have Apple and Google Play both here at the Container Store. This is some kind of exclusive offer. Up here, Organized Insider. I just thought that was interesting. This is Container Store. I do celebrate, educate, and support Autism Acceptance Month. It's pretty cool. Didn't really find anything that I needed. I was just kind of looking around. But here is their entrance right here. Container Store. There. Pretty useful if you have an office. All right, another statue on Chapel Hill Square is this guy right here. And we got a photo in front of this. Linda and I got a photo back when we were doing it a few weeks ago. I think we were eating pizza that day, which Slice City Pizza is right down this way, if you like Slice City Pizza. This is the guy with the hat. He's got floodlights too, and a signature down at the bottom. Right here. It was done in 2000. Angela Mia did it. Look at the shoes. Looks like penny loafers. They are penny loafers. Right there. Pretty amazing. Hello. Yeah, she spilled her drink on accident. Talking to this lady who's trying to become a subscriber. She's got to sign in, and it is amazingly windy. And just all this wind came out. We've got some cloud cover, so I'm gonna have to get started here pretty soon. This is a good day. I always say rain is a good day for delivery. She set her drink down, it just fell on the ground. But I was like, oh dear. She wasn't able to sign in, but she took a photo of the show, so she'll be able to go back and sign in later. The sign in thing is weird. Mine does a one-touch sign in, but that's usually because I'm always in on Google and I can figure it out that way. Hi, how are y'all today? It's sometimes the older generation that you have to kind of help in that, and it's like, how do you explain those kinds of things? You know how difficult it can be on sign-in, because we're in like a username password kind of a society. So, but what's cool is Google now allows a one-touch thing where your email comes up and you just touch on it, it'll just sign you in pretty easily, especially if it's familiar with your device. So that's another cool thing.